Hello again, vinyl community. This is Matt, and today I wanted to just go through some recent vinyl finds. These are mostly online purchases, mostly from eBay. There are a few thrift store purchases as well, and some recent record store buys as well. So let's get started. I actually just went to a record store today. I have 3 record stores reasonably close to me that I know of. Tonight I went to Zoinks, which is in Claremont, Southern California. It's a pretty regular store for me, but I hadn't been there for probably 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. And I just bought a few things. I was in there maybe 45 minutes. Yeah, got a couple of 45s, Juice Newton, Angel of the Morning, which ordinarily I wouldn't have thought to buy, but of course it's in the opening scene of Deadpool, so I thought, yeah, for 50 cents you gotta have it. I also got Chris Montez, Let's Dance. Don't worry about the cover. I'll throw this out. I have plenty of spare 45 covers, and I got this because my parents had it when I was a kid, so it's kind of nostalgic, and it's a pretty good song. It's a good 60s pop song. So those are the 45s that I got today. I also picked up a few 12-inch singles, including one that I was really happy to find. So the first one is Get a Life by Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul, of course, a classic R&B soul band from the late 80s and early 90s. So I was pleased to find this at the record store. I also got Bobby Brown, On Our Own. Of course, that's from the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. Again, kind of a cool find. It's still in the shrink, which was nice, as was the Soul to Soul single. And let's see, this has, I'm just trying to see what kind of mixes it has. Let's take a look. Okay, we have the extended club version, and we have the radio edit and instrumental version. So that's kind of cool. Nice to be able to find that. I'm still on the lookout for Don't Be Cruel, which is my favorite Bobby Brown song. I mean, I'm not a huge Bobby Brown fan, but I like a few of his songs. And then the final record that I got from the store tonight was a really, really surprising great find. And that is Roadblock by Stock Aitken Waterman. Now, any Brits watching this will, of course, know who Stock Aitken Waterman are, and I've referenced them in several of my earlier videos because in the 80s, in particular the late 80s in Great Britain, they were just huge. They were producers who produced the likes of Rick Astley, Kylie Minogue, Bananarama, Jason Donovan, Mel and Kim, Sunita, Brother Beyond. They worked with Cliff Richard, they worked with Dead or Alive, and the list goes on. And they actually did have a few of their own tracks that they put out. So these are tracks that they actually played instruments on and presumably contributed vocals to. This one, Roadblock, this is a really cool funk song from 1987. This was their biggest hit in the UK in terms of a record that they themselves played on. A record that was under their name as the artist. This got to number 13 in the charts in 87. As I say, they did have some other tracks like this. One was SS Paparazzi. And I think they had 1 or 2 others, but this was definitely by far the biggest hit. That had them as the credited as the artists, and I thought this was great to find for $1. I assume this is a UK version because I have a hard time believing it would have been released in the US, but let's have a look. I haven't really looked at the label, to be honest. I just obviously checked that the record was in good condition. It's on A&M Records, which actually already says to me this is probably a US pressing. So it's kind of cool. I didn't even know it came out here, but I couldn't believe it when I found it. I'm a big Stock Aitken Waterman fan. I like a lot of their stuff from the 80s. And to find it for $1 was just really, really great. So that kind of made my night. That was definitely the best find tonight. So that was everything that I got from the record store. I did also have this delivered today. This was an eBay purchase. Electrode Orchestra, New World record. I did not have any albums or singles of theirs. I think at one time I did have Telephone Line on 7-inch, but it was warped or scratched or something, so I ended up getting rid of it. And I found this on eBay. It was pretty cheap, still in the shrink, well, for the most part, still with the hype sticker, and it's in excellent condition. So I was pleased to find that. Some other recent acquisitions. By the way, I haven't cleaned any of these records yet, which means I haven't played them. I don't like to play records on my turntable until I've run them through the spin clean. I prefer to have a better listening experience to it. If they're not clean, they've probably got bits of dirt and dust on them and so on. They're likely to have a lot more pops and crackles. It's not doing the stylus any good, so why not be patient? Just wait to clean them. The exception will be new records. I don't always clean new records. It depends. If it's virgin vinyl, it doesn't usually need to be cleaned. This is just in my opinion. Other people think differently. I've seen other people online that swear by cleaning every record, regardless of whether it's new or old. But I find with virgin vinyl, that's to say 100% pure vinyl, as opposed to kind of a vinyl plastic mix. You don't usually need to clean the new ones. Again, just my opinion, because they do not attract much dust. They're usually pretty clean right out of the sleeve. New records that are not virgin vinyl, so kind of a plastic vinyl mix, those are a different story. Those tend to attract a lot more dust. You get a lot more static build up on them. Those ones I do tend to clean first, just to dissipate some of the static that's built up, and just to get rid of some of that dust that's been attracted by the static. So yeah, I will do another video at some point where I demonstrate the spin clean. If anybody watching this doesn't have it and is considering getting it, I would strongly recommend it. I know that there's other machines out there, vacuum machines, VPI and so forth. Those do tend to run for quite a bit more money. So for me, it was a matter of balance. I liked the spin clean because it was affordable. It was well under $100. I think it was like $80, $70 or $80. And for me, it does a great job. So probably when I go to clean this current batch, which may well be maybe this weekend or next week, I'll do a video just to demonstrate how the spin clean works. Okay, so moving on to the recent record acquisitions. We have one more 7-inch single. This again was an eBay purchase. That is Sandy Shore, Puppet on a String. I got this because of the nostalgia factor. My parents had this as a kid. I played it to death when I was a kid. I used to like the song a lot. I think I'm correct in saying that this was the UK's entry for the 1967 Eurovision Song Contest. I think that's right. And I think it won. I think it did. You know what? I haven't looked it up for a long time. I'm doing it from memory, but I think it did. The B-side is a track called Tell the Boys. I don't remember how that went. I'm sure when I put it on, it'll ring a bell, and I'll see, that's right. I haven't heard that for 25 years, but that's right. And of course, you can see, partly from the fact that there's no jukebox cutout, this is a UK pressing. So I had to wait a little bit to get it. It came from Great Britain. But yeah, again, just sort of the nostalgia factor with that. Next up, we have a Disappointment. Dreamboat Annie by Heart. This is disappointing because it has a ton of water damage and it has some mold inside too. So I will not be keeping this. I found that gradually during my sort of record collecting, I've become more discerning, and records that in the past I would let slide and just say, yeah, whatever, it's good enough. I now say, no, you know what, it's not good enough. So I did contact the seller. To be fair, they gave me a full refund. I didn't ask for one because it was only $2 plus shipping. I think it was like $4 shipping, so $6 altogether. And I just sent the guy a message to say, hey, you might in the future want to double check your descriptions for your auctions, because he had put that it was VG plus and that the only issue were kind of a few scuffs on the cover, but there's a bunch of water damage. You can see it quite clearly at the bottom actually if you look closely. And the inner sleeve has a lot of water damage and some mold too. So I've already got my refund for this. I've already gone ahead and bought another copy of this on eBay. So this I will probably be donating to a thrift store, or I have a couple of friends that are sort of into vinyl too. Maybe one of them will want it, perhaps. Yeah, I know it's kind of like if it, it's not good enough for me, but it's good enough for them. Which I don't mean for it to sound like, but I don't mind giving them first option on it. I mean, if they don't want it, that's fair enough. Okay, next up we have two records that I bought from the same seller. I thought these were absolute bargains. I kind of couldn't believe it. They're brand new, sealed. And first up is Sally Seltman, Hey Daydreamer. This I think came up as maybe a suggestion on my YouTube or something. I don't remember how I found this, but I loved the cover. I just love the artwork on it. I just think it's terrific. And so I gave it a listen. I thought, this is pretty good. It's really good. It's sort of whimsical, folky pop, modern. It's I forget what year it came out. I think honestly 2014, something like that. It's fairly recent, and it's got some really good songs on it. I listened to several of them on YouTube. There's a song called Billy that I liked. Needle in the Hay was a good song, and Catch of the Day is a really wonderfully whimsical song. And I want to say this cost me $2.99, $2.50 or something plus shipping, and the shipping I think was only $3. So, and yeah, like I said, it's brand new, sealed. And then from the same seller, this was an even better deal. Coda, Led Zeppelin. This is the recent remaster. I did not already have this album, including shipping. This was only $7, I think. I want to say it was like $3.99 for the record and like $3 shipping. Same as the Sally Seltman album. And yeah, brand new, sealed, remaster for $7, including shipping. Geez, it's got to be worth that, right? Can't get wrong. I don't know if they made a mistake, because I went back to look to see if they still had the Coda listing, because I think they were selling a few copies of it for a friend of mine, and they did still have it, but it was now up to like $12. So they might have made a mistake, and I got lucky with that. Okay, continuing on, another eBay purchase. This is Made in the Shade, the Rolling Stones. This is not in quite as good a condition as I'd hoped. It's probably, the sleeve is VG, the record's probably VG plus. It was extremely cheap though. I think it was only $2 plus shipping. I put in a lowball bid on it, wondering if I'd get it. Nobody else bid on it, and so I'll see how well it plays. If it plays well, then I'll keep it. If not, I'll probably end up either giving it to a thrift store or a friend, or it's a Rolling Stones. I could probably get $1 or $2 for it, trading it at a record store. Okay, next up we have The Who, live at Leeds. Again, this is another eBay purchase. I don't have many Who albums. I think I only have a couple. I know I have Who's Next and maybe one or two others. I didn't have this. Again, it was a pretty good price as far as I can remember. It's in really nice condition. So, yeah. Next up we have Ace Frehley, self-titled Kiss album. This is a really excellent rock album. Really excellent. I don't actually have any Kiss albums. I am keeping an eye out to see if I can get any on the cheap on eBay, but they tend to go for a reasonable amount of money. This was a good price, including shipping. I want to say it was $12.50. But this album routinely goes for like $20, and I got it for $8.50 plus $4 shipping, and it's in pretty good condition. It's VG plus all around, I'd say. I'm happy with that. Next up, we have Stevie Wonder Anthology. These Motown releases are really excellent, these anthology releases. There's a number of them. I have a few of them now, and I might do a separate video about them at some point, because I also have the Supremes Anthology, and I have a Four Tops Anthology, and maybe one or two others. And I was really pleased to find this. It's in really excellent condition. A lot of great tracks on the back. As you can see, there's like Yes to Me, Yes to You, Yesterday, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, Uptight, Everything's Alright. I assume My Cherie Amour's on here. I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, there it is. So it's a lot of his earliest stuff, right before his golden period in the early to mid 70s. Actually, some of this includes the very early part of his golden period, actually. So yeah, great find. Next up, I have two albums by Stillwater. I'll show each one. I found these guys completely by accident. I had not heard of them before, to be completely honest with you. They were a southern rock band. I say were, actually. I shouldn't use the past tense. I believe they're still touring. You can find some of the videos on eBay of some of their more recent live events. This is their self-titled album. Really like the cover of this. It's got a sort of serpent motif here with two serpents biting each other's tails, and I'm guessing, even though it looks kind of like drops of mercury, it's really supposed to be drops of water, still water. And I got this for one song only, and that is Mindbender. A really terrific use of the voice box, the Peter Frampton effect. Again, I hadn't heard the song. It came up as like an eBay, as a YouTube suggestion. I'd probably been listening to something else, and it says like play next or suggestions, and it said Stillwater Mindbender, and I thought, hey, I'll give it a listen, and I thought, oh, this is really great. So I went ahead and ordered it. And then I also got another album of theirs, I Reserve the Right. And I got this really, again, for the title track, I Reserve the Right, but which has an amazing guitar solo at the end of it. And the guitar solo lasts for like half the track, actually. And I don't know, when it comes to southern rock, I don't know if I've really heard a better guitar solo, to be honest with you. It's really just quite remarkable. And this is in really great condition. Actually, it's still in the shrink. I think it's still sealed. Let me just check. Yeah, it's still sealed. I didn't even realize that. It doesn't have a barcode, so this makes me think it's probably a first 1978 pressing. Because then pretty much any subsequent pressings would have almost certainly had a barcode from that time. By the time sort of the early 80s came around. And then finally, we have one more thrift store find, if you like. You'll probably think this is kind of funny, but Glen Campbell, Wichita Lineman. This is an upgrade copy. I do already own this album, but the copy that I have has even though it looks pristine, has a very slight skip on the title track, Wichita Lineman. Right before the little guitar solo starts, it skips a couple of seconds, and it's noticeable, and it really bugs me. And I found this in Savers. Savers are pretty good in terms of thrift stores for their vinyl prices. I think it was $1, and so I thought, for an upgrade copy, it's still in the shrink. It's clearly not a first pressing because it has the Gold Record Award stamp on it, so it couldn't possibly be. It does still look like an early pressing because it's on the Capitol Rainbow label. So yeah, for $1, why not, right? Okay, so that's all my most recent vinyl finds. Again, I'll be cleaning them. I have a few more still to come on eBay, so I might as well wait for that. I like to clean them in batches of at least 20. There's no point in me cleaning all these, getting a few more from eBay, and then what I'm supposed to waste all the cleaning fluid on cleaning just a few records. And I don't have much cleaning fluid left, so I gotta hold on to it for as long as I can. So okay, guys, thanks for watching. More videos to come soon. I appreciate all the comments. I've had a few from my videos, and the people that have subscribed. Please do go ahead and subscribe. I will be putting out more videos. It seems that right now I'm able to put one out at least every other night. I don't know if I'll start to run out of things to talk about, run out of topics, in which case I might have to scale it back a little bit, 2 or 3 times a week or something. But yeah, please go ahead and subscribe so you'll be kept up to date. And yeah, thank you again for watching. All right, thanks guys.